of sales are down the line?
We don't do very much online here on sales. It's a good question. It's something that we're looking at.
What type of science, technology, and or math education would you suggest for someone in your position?
Well, good question. Let's talk about the math side of it. That's the first piece, because then there's a science piece. So I think there's two pieces here. The math side is you have to understand economics, and so economics is extremely important. Business economics, I think, is very important to understand trends, inflation, what's going on in the marketplace, because the dollar today is worth a lot less than it was just a couple of years ago, in fact, maybe even just a year ago. So understanding economics is extremely important, because we're dealing day to day with economics here.
What science, technology, engineering, and math background is needed for the job position?
Job position. Like I said, there's a lot of, as far as engineering, it came into play when we're setting up our lab space down below, how we're going to use our tools. You know, that's kind of engineering. We have to draw how much space we're going to need, how we're going to designate the use, and that's something that the space use changes all the time. So we have to be able to sit down and evaluate the space that we have. How can we use it better? How can we use it in a different way to be more competitive? So and math is crucial, because, like I said, everything's about basing decisions off of theoretical values compared to actual values. So it's simple math, it's just a lot of it.
Daily job task.
Okay, so every day I have to manage the formulation. So every species that we feed has to be fed different protein. They have different requirements nutrient-wise. So I have the job of maintaining all those formulations and changing those.
How much of the work entails computers?
Oh, a lot of it. Unless there's my formulation program is a computer program. It's basically a pretty complex Excel spreadsheet. So I do all my work on the computer, unless there's an issue with the birds that are in the field. Then I have to go out and check on them and see what's going on out there. But I am in the office every day. It's all computers.
Are scientific computers used for analyzing the different diets?
Yeah, we have an NIR, which is a near infrared spectrometer. I think that's the acronym NIR. And you can put a sample of feed in there, and it will read the nutrients in it. So it's pretty high tech.
What science, technology, engineering, and math background is needed for your job?
I'd say it's mid-level. I wouldn't say advanced. Some areas could be advanced when dealing with budgeting. Being Craig's sidekick pretty much through this organic mill project, you'll learn a lot about engineering and how things flow throughout the mill. So an engineering background you would need somewhat if you're building a new mill or retrofitting other equipment into the milling process. That would help a lot.
What advice would you give today's high school students looking to obtain jobs within the STEM fields?
Study hard, get the most out of your education as you can, and then when you get into the job field, accept opportunities. Every opportunity that you accept will lead you to another opportunity. It might not be the best opportunity, and it might not be the best job, but when you accept that, you're making an impression on in your job field, and then if you do a good job, that'll lead you to another job, and that's basically how all of us got to the point where we are. Nobody graduated being mill manager, director of operations, or logistics manager. We all graduated with different ideas, and we followed our paths, and when the opportunity came, we tried them, and that's how we got to where we are. as far as graduating college and saying I'm going to be this from graduation, you're going to have to work towards it.
Have new machines and advancements helped to keep Kreamer Feed on top of ever-changing government regulations?
Oh, absolutely. I'd say Kreamer Feed is one of the leading companies as far as advancement in computerization, and it definitely gives you the edge over the competition, especially with all the regulations you have with lock keeping and tracking of the ingredients of the system, and the whole safety item of feed is part of the food chain.
What percentage of your job is done via computers or online technology, would you say?
Probably about 95%. The large majority of what we do is done on computers now. There of course is paper involved, but not like it was in years past. We're seeing a big shift, especially with technology, where more and more things are done online. That's one of the biggest changes right now.
Besides accounting, what other math education would you recommend for your position?
Especially with the use of spreadsheets, if you're familiar with basic algebra, it's helpful. A lot of the calculations that are done in Excel, you need to have a basic understanding of how those formulas work, and you can get rather sophisticated with those. Also, some statistical classes would be good to have an understanding of statistics and how they work, because a lot of what we do is data processing to get the information out of the general ledger, but to have somebody actually take that data and analyze it and make it informative to the managers and to the owners, that would be something that would be very useful.
Prior to the 19-year absence, what jobs did you have with Kreamer Feed? What changes have taken place during the absence?
You've done your research if you know that I wasn't here for 19 years, so that's great. I did many of the jobs that you would see today out there, but they have all been enhanced. I actually started working for the company when I was 12 on our farms, so I did all the farmhand types of activities until I was old enough at the age of 18 to work here in the mill. And I did, like some of the gentlemen you saw earlier, make feed, run feed around. At that point we did not bag any feed, so I wasn't doing that, but I ran the forklift and those types. How has it changed? About 100%. The computer that used to run this mill, or our original mill, was about the size of the wall behind me. Now it's basically a laptop. So it's changed quite a bit. And it is all point and click like a video game, whereas before it was all knobs and switches and levers. So it's a great improvement and much more efficient.
What advice would you give today's high school students looking to obtain jobs within the STEM fields?
First would be, don't always think that because you may not be good in one of the disciplines in STEM that you can't be part of it. There are great people that can do math but can't do science, can do science but can't do math. It's okay. Play to your strengths. One thing I learned a long time ago is everybody also tends to focus on opportunities, and you keep working on them, we can keep working on them. That's good, but don't forget to do what you're good at. It's pointless if you're great at numbers to say, I'm great at numbers, but I'm not so good at English, but I'm going to focus on English with everything I have. Well, put some effort into it, but use the stuff you're good at.